Hello and welcome back to another spectacular chess game. This one was played in 2023 between Magnus Carlsen, who was playing with white, and his opponent was Alireza Firouzja, who was playing with black. This game was played at Julius Baer Generation Cup, and the game started with e4 for Magnus Carlsen. Firouzja replied with c5. We are in Sicilian defense. We have knight f3. We have d6, d4 for white, c takes on d4, knight takes on d4, and knight f6 was played for black. After knight c3 and a6 for Firouzja, we are in neither of Sicilian. Magnus continues with rook g1, so-called freak attack, and Firouzja replies with h5. Inaccuracy marked by the computer. Computer actually recommends playing b5 here as the better alternative, but with this move Firouzja wanted to stop g4, the advancement of this pawn. Our game continued with bishop g5 for Magnus Carlsen. Computer actually recommends putting this bishop on e3. We have knight b to d7. Again, computer marks this as an inaccuracy, recommends playing b5 for Firouzja. We have bishop c4 for white, and we have g6 for black. Now computer sees that a better alternative here is actually playing e6 for black. After g6, our game continued with queen d2 for Magnus Carlsen. We have bishop g7 for black, again b5 as the best recommendation by the computer. We have long castle by Magnus Carlsen, queen c7, and right now this bishop is attacked, so Magnus retreats it on b3. Our game continued with b5 for black. We have rook g to e1, and right now black castles here. Computer actually recommends playing bishop b7 as a slightly better move, although this is not a mistake. We have f4 for Magnus Carlsen. Computer actually recommends playing knight d5 instead of f4, and right now we have first mistake of the game by Alireza Firouzja. He played knight c5. Actually computer recommends this line, I will show you. So instead of this you should play knight b6, and after f5 is played, king h7, king b1 for white, knight c4 for black, and after bishop takes, queen takes. This would be the position recommended by the computer, and white is only slightly better in this position. But Firouzja decided to play knight c5, and Magnus immediately finds the best move, which is bishop picking up this knight. We have e picks up on f6, and we have f5 for Magnus Carlsen. Black continues with king h7. We have king b1 now for Magnus Carlsen, because this is now an open threat of taking this queen. Our game continued with bishop b7 for black, developing this bishop, and we have knight d5 for Magnus Carlsen, right now attacking this queen and also pressuring black to trade for this strong knight. Game continued with knight picking up on b3. We have a picks up on b3, and now bishop picks up on d5. Magnus now plays intermediate move with f picking up on g6 check, f picking up on g6 check, and we have e picks up on d5 for Magnus Carlsen. Rook f to e8 was played for black, and now Magnus Carlsen invades with his knight. Knight e6, a really good move. This is a dark squared bishop, and this will be a pretty much eternal knight. You won't be able to move it unless you have to sacrifice either your rook or to remove this pawn. Now black plays queen f7, which is a slight inaccuracy. Computer actually recommend putting this queen on d7. Our game continued with g4, temporarily sacrificing this pawn. Black accepts this sacrifice, h picks up on g4, and we have rook e4 played by Magnus Carlsen. Now it looks like black can push f5, but this will be a tragic mistake because knight g5 is coming and your queen will fall. So this is not allowed, and after rook e4 you cannot protect this pawn, of course. You have to play something like bishop h6, which was played in the game, and right now this queen is under attack. Magnus plays queen f2, and right now black can protect this pawn temporarily with f5, which allowed Magnus a beautiful rook picking up on g4 sacrifice. Right now you cannot pick up this rook because your queen will fall. Game continued with queen a7. Firouzja offers the queen trade. Magnus refuses. He plays rook g to d4. We have a5. Black tries to counterattack on the enemy's king wing. We have queen h4 for Magnus Carlsen. It's now obvious that Magnus wants to attack this exposed king. We have queen e7 for black, again offering the trade. Magnus refuses with queen h3, and we have queen f6 played for black. game continued with rook h4 for Magnus Carlsen, attacking this bishop, and right now we have g5 played for black. With this move, black actually defends this bishop and also attacks this rook. After this, Magnus played rook h5, although picking up this bishop was also an option, I will show you. So after g5, it was possible for Magnus to pick up this bishop. It was actually the best move recommended by the computer, and after queen picks up on h6, you would continue with queen f5 check, and after queen g6, Magnus would probably play queen h3 check, and after king goes on g8, you would continue with rook g1 with a strong attack against this weak exposed king. Black again can only remove this knight by sacrificing his rook, which is not good at the moment. This is only one idea of how Magnus could have continued this game, but he decided after g5 to play rook h5. Our game continued with g4 now for black, attacking the queen. Magnus plays queen d3, and we have king g6 now played for black, again pressuring this rook. And now comes the critical part of the game. Magnus now finds an amazing idea with rook f1. Magnus temporarily sacrifices this rook, and after king picks up on h5, which was played, Magnus picks up this pawn with rook picking up on h5 check, queen picks up on h5, queen picks up on h5 check, and right now king h4 was played for black. Magnus continues with queen f2 check, king goes on h5, and we have h3 played for Magnus Carlsen. Black refuses to pick up this pawn and he plays rook g8. I will show you what would happen. For example, if g picks up on h3 was played, this would not be a mistake. White would have queen g3, and after a4, queen h3 check, and after king goes on g6, queen g4 check, and after king f6, queen h5 with much better play for white. But this didn't happen, and after h3, rook g8 was played for black. We have h picking up on g4, rook picks up on g4, and right now Magnus keeps this check. And after rook covers this check, we have queen picking up on d6 for Magnus Carlsen. This pawn is slowly getting ready for promotion. We have a4 now played for black in a desperate attempt to at least try something. We have queen e5 check for Magnus Carlsen, king g6, queen g3 check, king goes on h5, we have queen f3 now check, king goes on g6, and right now Magnus is ready to push his pawn with d6. Right now black tries to play rook a7 to kind of stop the promotion, but queen d3 is what comes, and after king goes on f6, white continues with d7. The last attempt for Alireza Firouzja was rook h1 check, and after king a2, black resigned because there is nothing he can do. Magnus will simply promote and he will win the game. One of the continuations is you have to give up your rook, and after queen picks up on d7, this is a clearly won game, material advantage for white, and Magnus is the best player in the world. And this is how this game ended, and this is all I have prepared for you today. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a comment, like and share. Also, please let me know your comments about this position, about this situation. Have been impressed with how Magnus sacrificed his two rooks for the queen. Amazing trade in the middle of the game, which allowed him to actually win. That's why he's one of the best, if not the best of all time in chess, because he just simply knows when and what to do when the time is right. So this is why he's so good, of course. And if you wish to donate, you can do that by becoming a channel member, or you can simply do one-time donations via PayPal. I will leave the link in the description below. And of course, as always, we will see each other in the next video. I wish you a pleasant day. Bye bye.